Last year's iPad Pro range brought significant changes to the flagship iPad Duo, as well as an upgraded mini LED display on the 12.9-inch model. Apple introduced its desktop-class processor, the Apple M1, to the range, allowing the tablets to perform tasks usually exclusive to MacBooks and iMacs. Impressive though that was, Apple is hard at work on the next iPad Pro ranging behind closed doors. With the iPad Pro 2021 now around a year old, Apple is expected to release an update soon, though not as soon as some might hope. It's not quite as clear-cut as the Apple Watch or iPhone, which tend to launch in September every year, but there is a vague first half of the year schedule over the past few years. However, it looks like the trend is set to change in 2022 with no mention of the iPad Pro at Apple's March 2022 event. Instead, it focused on the iPad Air 5, iPhone SE 3 and new Mac Studio, with Apple's Pro range set to take center stage later in the year. Some might have hoped that WWDC 2022 would have been a candidate. It did announce the new MacBook Air and the M2 chip after all, but the Pro-level iPads were a no-show. Twitter leaker Dylan Katie suggested in a now deleted tweet that the iPad Pro is coming in the fall or autumn to those in the UK, and Bloomberg's Mark Gurman agreed months later in March 2022. Speaking in his Power On newsletter, Gurman suggests that the launch will take place between September and November this year, mirroring the 16 to 18 month gap that Apple tends to follow for its Pro releases, aside from the 2021 update that is. Interestingly, a report from Bloomberg in early August suggests that for the first time ever, the release of iPad OS 16 have been delayed from its usual September release to October. Bloomberg sources believe it's to coincide with the release of new iPad hardware, which is all but confirmed to be the new iPad Pro range, lending more weight to an October reveal. Following on from this, 9 to 5 Mac sources also confirmed an iPad-themed event taking place sometime in October, specially mentioning the reveal of 2 new models of iPad Pro and the new 10th generation iPad. With all that said, it seems we shouldn't expect the release of the new iPad Pro range until October. Apple wouldn't want to overshadow the release of the iPhone 14 after all, and it made no mention of the tablets at its Far Out event on September 7. With Tim Cook saying, "We are here to talk about 3 products that have become essential in our lives: iPhone, AirPods and Apple Watch." Much like the release date, there is no word on possible pricing for the iPad Pro 2022 range, so we will reflect on past base pricing to give us a rough idea. iPad Pro 12.9-inch 2022 was $999, Pro 11-inch 2020 was $799, 12.9-inch 2021 was $1,099 and 11-inch was $799. As you can see, Apple isn't afraid to tweak the pricing of the iPad Pro range from time to time, while the iPad Pro 11-inch 2021 is actually €20 cheaper in the UK than its predecessor. The iPad Pro 12.9-inch model saw a $100 increase this time around, likely due to the upgraded mini LED display. The good news is that tipster leaks Apple Pro believes that iPad Pro range will come in at a near identical price this year despite the potential upgrades on offer, with the 11-inch model starting at $799 and the 12.9-inch model coming in at a cool $1,099. Apple has spent past years syncing the design language of its product range, with the iPad mini 6 and iPhone 13 sporting the same industrial, angular look as the iPad Pro range. With that in mind, we don't expect Apple to redesign the wheel, or more appropriately the iPad Pro with its 2022 refresh. There will be a range of new features of course, and the rumor mill has been churning away. The new 14.1-inch iPad Pro is a little out of the left field, but it could be potentially very interesting. Rumors are circulating that claim Apple could be working on an iPad Pro larger than the 12.9-inch variant currently available. While some scoffed at the idea of an even larger iPad than the behemoth that is the 12.9-inch model, it seems like there could be truth to be rumored. In fact, Rose Young, display analyst at DSCC, got more specific recently, claiming that Apple is working on a 14.1-inch iPad Pro with a mini LED display and super smooth 120Hz ProMotion technology. Young has a great track record when it comes to display-related leaks, nailing previous Apple flagship iPhones and iPads months ahead of release, so there could be something to the rumor. Young isn't the only leaker that believes Apple is working on an even bigger iPad Pro either. Twitter leaker Majimbu has also released details suggesting it could pack the Apple M2 chipset alongside 512GB of storage and 16GB of RAM, though the tipster isn't quite as reliable with a hit and miss track record. Interestingly, Young notes that the 14.1-inch model isn't due until sometime in 2023, which clashes the current rumors of a September or October 2022 announcement for the M2-powered iPad Pro 8. It's possible that Apple could reveal all three models at the same event later this year and simply delay the release of the largest model until early 2023. But we will have to wait and see for now. One of the most prevalent rumors right now is arguably one of the most obvious. The 11-inch iPad Pro 2022 is expected to match the 12.9-inch model's mini LED display. After missing out on the tech in the 2021 range, the news comes from the eerily accurate Ming-Chi Kuo, suggesting in a July 2021 note to investors that the iPad Pro 11-inch and MacBook Air will both get the mini LED upgrade in 2022. Twitter leaker Dylan Katie also believes that mini LED will be present on both models, stating that all iPad Pro models will have a mini LED display in a late January 2022 tweet. As we have seen from the iPad Pro 12.9-inch 2021, the upgraded display tech is a huge step forward from the standard LCD display used by previous generation tablets. It allows more control over contrast with truly inky blacks, produces vibrant colors, and is impressively bright too. In fact, the tech advisor editor Jim Martin described the mini LED display as phenomenal in his 4.5-star iPad Pro 12.9-inch 2021 review. The under-display Face ID is a little more out there, and chances are it won't be on the 2022 model. But there are rumors that Apple could be bringing under-display camera and Face ID technology to the iPad Pro before it makes its debut on the iPhone. Speaking on a July 2022 episode of the Mac Rumors show, display analyst Rose Young suggests that it's possible that under-display Face ID could appear on an iPad before an iPhone, due mainly to the technology being easier to introduce under a larger display with a smaller pixel density. He also notes that it's more feasible simply because there are few iPads manufactured than iPhones, making it easier to introduce and scale over time. Young is confident about the tech too, suggesting it could make an appearance in an iPad as early as next year, well before the 2026 model of iPhone Young currently believes will be the first to sport the under-display tech. Despite not changing the overall form factor of the upcoming range, the new models of iPad Pro are rumored to sport glass backs in place of the aluminum currently used. The reason for the switch to glass, according to Bloomberg, is to enable wireless charging to the iPad range for the first time. The claim was backed up again in September 2021, with Bloomberg's Mark Gurman doubling down on the glass rear and reverse wireless charging capabilities of the upcoming iPad Pro range. Given the fact that it's readily available on the iPhone range, it makes sense for the tech to finally make an appearance on Apple's tablet range. In the same report, Bloomberg also suggests that the transition to a glass back will also enable reverse wireless charging for the first time. This would allow owners to charge a Qi-enabled iPhone or AirPods by placing them on the rear of the tablet handy for quick top-ups. A follow-up report in early 2022 from 9to Mac suggests differently though. According to sources familiar with Apple's design plans, the glass rear design might have been scrapped due to how fragile it would make the device compared to its current aluminum body. Instead, the company is developing prototypes with a larger Apple logo similar in size to that of the new MacBook Pro, made entirely from glass to allow for wireless power transfer. The report also suggests that it will feature magnets, much like MagSafe on the iPhone, but with stronger magnets to prevent accidents, and it will charge faster than iPhone models due to. The inclusion of MagSafe has also been teased by Bloomberg's Mark Gurman in March 2022 edition of his Power On newsletter. As with all rumors, it's worth taking this with a pinch of salt, especially given the disagreements among leakers. In fact, leaker Dylan Katie claims that they have heard nothing but concerns from multiple sources about the wireless charging or MagSafe capabilities, so it may get pushed back or canned altogether. An August 2022 supply chain report from Mako Takara suggests that the new iPad Pro range could get an upgraded smart connector. The current 3-pin connector on the iPad Pro is used to connect accessories like the Magic Keyboard, but the Mako Takara report suggests that the new model will sport an upgraded 4-pin connector on the top and bottom side edges. The report goes on to suggest that the new connectors should assist in powering peripherals, much like the existing smart connector. iPad OS 16 is set to feature the driver kit support for the first time, making it easier for accessory maker to make tech that works with the iPad Pro, and the upgraded 4-pin connector could further aid in that. The issue is that, if true, it will make existing 3-pin accessories like the premium Magic Keyboard incompatible with the new models, and I doubt there will be many in a rush to replace a perfectly good keyboard just because it's 1 pin short. As well as a glass rear and reverse wireless charging, one analyst suggests the iPad Pro could get an updated design, though the leaker isn't sure if it's for this year's model or it's just something in the works behind closed doors at Apple Verge. Discussing the leak via Twitter, Dylan Katie suggests that a new iPad Pro could feature a horizontal camera placement and a horizontal Apple logo to match, with the default orientation of the Pro tablet switching from portrait to landscape. There is no mention of other iPads getting the same treatment, and while that may sound odd at first, the Pro range does lend itself more to landscape scenarios than other tablets in Apple's range. Creatives tend to draw in landscape orientation, editors edit in landscape, and it's in landscape when used with the Magic Keyboard too. Of course, with no mention of the reorientation in any other design leaks, it's worth taking this one with a pinch of salt, but it's certainly an interesting idea. Given Apple's transition to the M1 chipset on the iPad Pro 2021 range, it's safe to assume that one of its successors will be featured in the 2022 range, especially now that the mid-range iPad Air also features an M1 chipset. This could be either of the M1 Pro or M1 Max chips found in the redesigned 14 and 16 in MacBook Pro range, perhaps with the Pro found in the smaller iPad Pro and the Max included in the larger model. It's also possible that Apple will debut a next-generation M2 chip in 2022, and that could power the new iPad Pros, something that leaker Dylan Katie predicts, which would explain why Apple has allegedly pushed the release of the range back to autumn 2022. Bloomberg's Mark Gurman also suggests that the M2 could be on the cards for the new iPad Pro range, claiming that the new chipset CPU will be slightly faster than the M1 but will pack the same 8-core architecture. He reiterated the claim months later, again claiming that the next iPad Pro range will sport the latest M2 chipset, not the M1 Pro or Max chips as initially rumored. While it might not be exclusive to the iPad Pro range, Apple has taken the unusual step of confirming a number of few and improved accessibility Features headed to iOS 16 and iPadOS 6 later this year. While features like door detection are primarily aimed at iPhone users, there are a few iPad-focused features coming too. One of the most popular accessibility features coming to iPadOS 16 is live captioning. As the name suggests, the feature will caption any audio in real time, including in video calls via the likes of Zoom and FaceTime, as well as social apps like Instagram and Snapchat. What's more, the feature can also be used in real life to provide captioning when talking to someone close by, ideal for the deaf and hard of hearing community. That's all for today. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, feel free to share it with your friends and keep watching Review Arena to get your top-notch day-to-day commodities news.